operated is strictly prohibited. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. The horses are now nearing the starting gate. And they're off. As the field comes into the stretch. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aqueduct. Cloudy skies on this Saturday, but it is mild with the temperature in the mid-50s. The main track is fast. The turf courses are good. Portable rail is up at 27 feet on the inner turf, and there is no portable rail in use on the outer turf course. We do have a jackpot carryover today in the Empire 6 of $59,400. And right now we'll take a look at today's changes. In the first race, note that number 7, Vriodini, is a first-time gelding. Second race, we have these scratches. Scratch 5, Starship Empire. 8, Jet Ferrandi. Scratch the 10, Alight. 13, Step to the Bank. 15, Black Irish. And 16, Have a Heart. Scratch 5, 8, 10. 13, 15, and 16. Couple of changes for the 11, Bricko. Bricko will race with cheek pieces off and blinkers on. Cheek pieces off, blinkers on, the 11, Bricko. No changes in the third. Race 4 will start the Empire 6. Scratch 1A, Tough Bird. 3, Alexocrat. And the also eligibles, 13, Trip Road, 14, Candy Flower, and 15, First Dawn. Scratch 1A, 3, 13, 14, and 15. No changes in the fifth. In today's sixth race, scratch 4, Grand, 10, Beachside, and 11, Quintarelli. Scratch 4, 10, and 11. Note that number 5, Dublin Green, runs with cheek pieces again. Seventh race, scratch the 13, Osser. Scratch number 13. The eighth race is the Alex M. Robb Stakes, and there are no changes. In the ninth race, scratch 5, Broadway Joe, and the 15, Simba's All Trouble. Scratch 5 and 15. A rider change on the 7, Z Finale, to Nick Juarez. Juarez rides the 7. And number 13, Just in Time for Wine, Cheek Pieces again. Main track is fast, turf course is good. Empire 6 jackpot carryover $59,400. We'll come back at 11:50 to reprise the changes. The first race post today is at 12:20. Up next, it's the Saturday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. The Big A, Anthony Stabile, in all his splendor. Myself, Andy Serling.
Talking Horses royalty just left.
Eric Donovan.
I thought maybe one of you guys knew something that I didn't.
It's nice to see Eric. Always nice to see Eric. I see Eric throughout the day quite often. Today is the final day of grass racing.
It is.
At NYRA this year. It's been a heck of a run.
December 12th. Pretty sensational.
Well, if you think about it, I guess there's... When is our next day of racing after the break? I want to say it's the 30th. Isn't it Thursday the 30th?
Thursday's the 31st. There are some racing calendars out there that have us running on Wednesday the 30th. Those are not accurate. We're back on Thursday, New Year's Eve, the 31st.
There's only 6 cards left in the 2020, so we will have had turf racing when you think about it.
Wow.
Well, we didn't race on it last winter when we were still racing.
Right.
Pre-COVID. It feels like just a different time.
I don't even know. I feel like from Saratoga to now has been a blur. Until we got to Saratoga, it took 3 years and 5 months.
For you to head over to NYRA Bets takes about 2 seconds. Go to nyrabets.com if you're not a member. Sign up now. Use promo code MATCH200 to support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. I think that's the most important thing you can do when playing through your ADW. Wherever you choose to play, keep the money in racing. Racing needs to have the money, wherever it is, whether it's NYRA Bets or somewhere else. Make sure it's an ADW that is supporting racing and not taking the money and giving it to investors. I think it's very important that racing keeps the money in the game in all certain ways. So play through NYRA Bets and you'll be supporting racing in New York. Got 9 to talk about, Anthony, starting with the first race at 9 furlongs on the dirt. Honestly, I sweated over this race. I understand that the horses that are favored, like Paint Music for Me and Open Lengths, are absolutely the 2 horses to beat. On the other hand, neither one of them are horses that I care to endorse at short prices. Now, a lot of times we'll endorse favorites that we're not betting on, and that's probably what you're doing here, though I imagine you're playing the pick 5 as you usually do. I wanted to find an alternative. I may have found a pretty lousy alternative, but at least with my horse, the Italian American, you've got a horse that at one time in his career was okay.
Yeah.
No superstar, but he was okay. When he came back and watching that race, there's a very good chance he can't run anymore, but he certainly was eased in that race for whatever reason. And I want to give this horse a chance. You've got Katie Davis coming up, and I think this is a much improved version of Katie Davis than the one that we saw when she first began riding. As any rider who first begins riding is going to improve. And you look at her percentage, she's riding at 17%, so she's doing a decent job. And this horse could hustle a little bit. I just was Anthony, I was just looking for somebody else. I'm not going to, I feel like this horse is either going to run really well relative in this field or terribly. I can live with that. And at 10 to 20 to 1, I'm in.
I was embarrassed with myself.
I know, that's the way I felt. I know, it's exactly the way I felt.
I'll be honest.
I'm going, the 6 is the horse to beat, I guess, the 9, and I'm like, I don't want to pick either one of these guys.
Man, his race was so bad last time, and the Italian American. I know it's probably too bad to be believed.
No, you're not.
It's probably too bad to be believed.
You're not wrong.
It's probably too bad to be believed, but I mean, it's not like the 2 before that were much better.
I readily admit this could be a horrendous pick, but I know at one time this horse could run. And, there are horses in here like Uncle Ned and Tisme, Bobby McGee. They didn't do any running whatsoever, in my opinion. I know Uncle Ned broke a little bit slow, but...
The only thing I'll say about Tisme, Bobby McGee, and I thought for a bit about putting this horse on top, and I just decided to chalk out. It's 3rd off a year layoff. He's getting the equipment change. He's stretching out to the 2 turns. At least there are a few things to talk about with him.
I guess. No, I
guess. Yeah, no, I guess. I mean, it's all. I feel like it's all a stretch.
Yeah,
I feel like it's all a stretch in here.
I agree. I mean, look, Paint
There's
Music
a race on tomorrow's card that I felt the same way about, where it's just like you're making picks in these races.
Tough races tomorrow.
There are a couple of doozies on the card tomorrow. What's in the middle of the card? 5th or 6th?
Yeah, I mean, Open Lengths, looks run back to the debut on the dirt. I thought was probably going to win. That was a little better than, you know what I don't like about Paint?
Only fast track effort too, by the way, and that horse's number going 9 furlongs. He would beat these horses. But
here's what I don't love about Paint Music for me. It's the first time this horse has run in New York, and before people run and say, well, it's a Maryland bred, that's where they're taking it. Now, were they taking it to Maryland because they really wanted to wave the claver? Because they're running the horse for 20, so I don't think that was the reason. And if you look at the purse structures down there, the purses are like $33,000, and $3,000 of it is the Maryland Breeders' Fund. So it's not as though there's, they're a purse that's $23,000, and if it's for everybody, and it's $45,000 for Maryland. Right, exactly. I mean, I was thinking that was the reason, but you look and the purse structure isn't so significant.
No, the Maryland
that it's really worth
Breds
shipping.
the Maryland Breds get to run in the 40 claimers with the waiver. They
yeah,
never
but
have
they're
to
writing the
run.
horse for 20.
Yeah.
I got a feeling if you stopped by Michelle's barn, you said, "I'll give you 40 for pay," she'd say, "You're in."
40.
Sold. Right. Anyway, race
Maybe
number
knock a
one.
zero off. You better have to knock a zero off.
Whatever the case may
disagree.
be, I don't know that's not fair. But the reality is, I don't think that was the reason, at least for that many starts for 40. Race number 2. Big shame for Anthony. His ridiculous horse that had no chance isn't going to run today. Anthony, I'm going to tell you something. That race that you think there was some shenanigans or something
I didn't
in.
think shenanigans. I just thought he was checked the card, and then the second time too was.
Anthony.
Well, listen, it's a moot point. We're not going to see him on the
I
turf now
watched
for
both
5
replays
months.
because you annoyed me about the horse last time, and I think you better just stop drinking when you're handicapping.
All
That's
right.
my suggestion right
But
now.
I wasn't a handy. I was drinking. You think I was drinking during the races?
I don't know what you were doing. The number 9 Scuttlebuzz, the horse you have on top. I showed the last race because we've shown the turf race about 17 times in this show. I say one thing: you watch this horse. This horse doesn't want to go a mile.
No.
This horse wants less distance because you look right now, he's primed to make a real run, and he's running. He's actually rallying, and he got a very good trip and ride up this point, and he just can't finish. In fact, he's getting out-finished on the outside. He's a horse that didn't want the extra distance. He's got a shorter burst. He ran very well at 6 furlongs, and no doubt about it, his 6 furlong race is good. The problem I have with him is, has time been his friend?
No.
I'm just thinking as time has gone on, it feels like he missed his opportunities, whether rain
I
or
gotta
whatever.
tell you, Andy. He's getting back to what he did best in a weaker spot.
I agree.
I'll tell you what.
No argument with this.
You kind of feel like
I just like another horse.
if he doesn't win today, he's going to have to wait until the springtime because I don't know if this horse is going to win a dirt race.
I agree.
I really don't think he's going to win
I don't
a dirt
disagree.
race. Yeah.
I don't disagree. He can't run on the dirt anymore. I like Frat. We'll take a look at the beginning. And Kendrick Carmouche has had a tremendous fall here at Aqueduct. I think if he could have one ride back, it would be this ride because he outbroke the field. And Kendrick is as good as any ride in the game of getting over. And I think he just didn't show the usual Kendrick sort of zip to get this horse over. And he ended up chasing 3 wide the entire way. And he actually ran incredibly well when you consider things. Well, Perfect Banker was down on the gold rail. And this was one of those 2 days, the first 2 days, where the rail was absolutely gold and the chasers had no chance. Look no farther than that performance yesterday by that horse you liked a little bit, VIP Nation, how she beat only one horse that didn't get out of the gate. Because horses were elevated by the rail, where this horse was chasing wide the entire way. Today he's going to the front, and today he's wide.
And there was no way for Kendrick to know that the rail was going to be that.
I'm not being critical of Kendrick. I'm saying,
Right.
in retrospect, if Kendrick were to look at this, he would say, I have no criticism of Kendrick whatsoever. I think it was ridden tremendously. What I'm saying is, if he were to look at this in retrospect, he'd say, man, I should have been, just gunned and gotten the front.
Here's the one thing that worries me about that. Him and Perfect Banker tussled last time. Perfect Banker's inside of him again. Don't you think Perfect Banker's got to go again?
I think Kendrick's faster, and he would have been faster last time.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right.
A lot of people like Tercero here, who I have 4th.
I have him 3rd, but
I don't get it.
he's a long way back. Well, I mean,
He broke slow in his turf debut. I don't get this horse.
yeah,
He should have won last time.
Doesn't his turf figure stack up with these? And if they cut back helps?
I don't care about that. I think
Okay.
I don't think that turf figure showed you any running. He got a little left. He was awful in that race.
That's fine.
I thought it was a 2-horse race.
So did I. I pretty much did as well.
I've got Freudian analyst in there a little bit because he's actually run races fast enough to win. He really has. I mean, his races aren't that bad. I don't think he's good enough to win, but he's fast enough to be competitive. Race number 3. I thought this was a bit of a skull buster in here. Where'd you go in race number 3?
I went to South Africa.
Why?
Well, I know that More Grateful did not. Jerry the Nipper came back and ran well the other day.
Jerry the Nipper ran about 50 lengths better than South Africa did last time, and he was also coming off a long layup. I am going to break you of the habit of betting horses that won last time. I'm going to do
No,
it.
you're not going to do it.
Well, I should because
I'm
it's a
unbreakable.
loser's play.
But I don't understand. But
It's a loser's play.
it's.
This horse
I
got
think that's way too much of a broad
this.
stroke.
You're a guy who has said on this show And I agree with you 1,000%. The difference between non-winners of 1 and non-winners of 2 in the New York race. So you betting a horse that's the morning line favorite, moving from non-winners of 1 to non-winners of 2 off an absolutely perfect trip win, and you think that's a good bet. Okay, I disagree.
I don't think it's a great bet.
Anthony, I think it's one of the worst bets in racing.
You don't have this horse on a board.
I don't like this horse at all. I'm sorry, he was my 5th pick, if that matters.
I don't know
how much disdain I don't
know how you can't like him at all. He showed a new dimension to come from off the pace last time out.
Good for him. He's a multi-dimensional perfect trip horse, no doubt about it. This horse walked on the lead 2-back, and last time out stalked the fast pace and got a perfect dream scenario to win. Gemography came back and lost to another horse in this race who actually ran better. am I going to fall to my Sherwin wins? I'll be a little bit surprised, but my point of my picks are they involve the prices that horses are. And at the prices they're going to be, I think there's no worse bet in this race in South Africa. I firmly believe this. You obviously disagree.
Yeah, to me, I don't think. See, I think Power Up Painter has a chance to be favored in here.
Okay.
I'm
not going to have a semantics article on who the favorite's going to be. He's going to be a short price in this field, relatively speaking. Whether he's 20 cents the biggest the favorite or 30 cents the second choice, I don't care.
I don't.
We disagree. It's fine.
Yeah, I feel like.
Okay, fine. I think he's slow.
It's also hard to go from the maiden to the 8th and end. He did that last time. Then you're going to say he had a perfect trip.
I don't like this horse at all.
Okay.
So, good luck to you. I thought Power Painter ran terrific last time. You know, David Argona made an interesting point. What he liked Blessed and Shout yesterday, I thought ran very well to be 3rd.
Yeah.
That may be a race where the buyer figures low. And Power Up Painter's last race may not have come out of nowhere. So I think he is dangerous in here. And also, if you think that, Call Me Harry may be a little bit more dangerous. I picked Bronx Bomber. We'll take a look at his last race. I know you liked him last time. And listen, there is a very fair argument the last time was the time for him, even though he lost. Bray Handel has terrific numbers off of claims. And I thought he was going to get a very nice stalking trip in this race. And maybe he's just getting back in form, and I thought his price would be fair enough. I'll be honest with you. I significantly struggled with this race. I don't like Steam Engine. I don't like South Africa. After that, heck, I wouldn't be shocked if Running with Scissors ran well. I think Wow Brown ran well last time.
He did.
Because he made that early move, and that race was falling apart. Ray's got good numbers off the claim in the dirt. What about Silly Key? Second off a layoff. Sloppy track last time. Why not?
I guess. I mean, his last 2 before the bench were not very good.
No, I agree with that. I agree.
And then he came back, and yeah, if you want to chalk it up to a wet track, I'm not going to fault you for that.
No, I agree. His form was bad.
Linda's horses sometimes. You know what else bothers me, Andy? He's missed almost 2 months again. So you're looking at a 6-month layoff, a 7-month layoff, and now he's going for another 2 months.
Believe me, I don't trust him at all.
Yeah, that was my issue with him.
No, I'm not a big fan of that horse at all. I'm just pointing out that he is second off a layoff. I know this is a very, very tricky race. And listen, you like South Africa, that's fine. You may be right. I just don't like that horse.
Yeah.
Race number 4. I think race number 4 is kind of an obvious race. It's one of those few races that right or wrong handicaps itself for you. There are 2 horses that are the right horses and the wrong horses, and they're Mirabelle and Me, who didn't run particularly well last time but did get wired. And there's Lido Key, and we'll take a look at Lido Key's last race. The problem I have with Lido Key is, and I would say, and you know how I feel about Joel Rosario, maybe he was a little unnecessarily cute in this race. You know, he's riding the favorite. They're moving up front. Maybe he tried to save ground a little bit, but this is the way he rides, and it works out more often than not. And at the end of the day, she's been second, and under all sorts of circumstances, she just never wins.
And I think he gave this ride last time, saving the ground, because he felt like she needs every edge she can get to the money. And look, the problem is the doors kept closing.
Well, but the problem is that the winner is getting that clean outside trip, which isn't as bad in the Widener as it is in so many other courses. And by the time,
Yeah, by the time she's clearing outside the horses, the winner's gone. The winner's in the barn,
right.
pulled out.
But I'll tell you what one of my problems is. It's not like she even flew by the third place finisher, and the third place finisher in there, Sterling Beauty, she is no superstar whatsoever. So
No, far from
I
it.
don't feel like this horse improved for Maker at all. I think she's just the same horse, whatever barn she's in.
She kind of is who she is.
Right, she's one of these
She's
horses.
going to find one of these two lifes one day that she's going to win. Is this it? Maybe. We both have her second, and I think...
Even when she won at Tampa, she got a wicked pace to close into. I think she's
her-
the same horse for Gary Contessa that she was for Kenny McPeak, that she is for Mike Baker.
And you
she
mentioned
can
that
win.
she had a ridiculous pace at Tampa when she broke her maiden.
When she was second at Saratoga, it was a super fast pace that collapsed. More
And
likely than not,
she
Peter's
is
not much
facing
worse.
the exact opposite pace dynamic in here.
In theory, on paper, the horse we'll look at here, Breaking Her Maiden, who I've never liked, Kemba. But this is Kemba 2 back at Saratoga before she actually set what was a pace that really collapsed last time. Kind of one of the reasons I like her is she was setting a pace that looked slow on paper, but it completely and totally fell apart last time. I don't love this horse, but either you take one of the closers who I'm not thrilled with in the 2 or 8, or you take Kemba. If somebody else wins here, I don't know who they are.
I'm with you, man.
I just don't know who they are.
I'm just hoping she does what she did here. Get to the top and just make every pole a win and keep on going. I really do feel like she's found the right bunch to do that against. Lido Key's a horse that has shown that she doesn't really want to pass all of them. And Mirabella Me, you know, the argument last time was she kind of runs the same race despite whatever, regardless of class, and she did it again when she dropped in for a tag for the second time. So they just run their same races, and these are the types of horses. Mopolka went wire to wire on Mirabella Me last time. These are the kind of horses that can fall victim to loose speed horses, and
Sure.
it happens to them time and time
They
again.
are or they are. Giggle Factory, I suppose, could win. Tommy Albertrine's horse has been running. I tried to make Market Legacy. The problem with Market Legacy is I never thought that horse was good in either barn she's been in.
She has a little
This
pedigree
is it.
too, and they keep putting
Should
her
we
in.
say like a moment of silence? It's the last turf race of the season.
Pour a little out.
It's been a great run.
Been
Really
a fantastic run. Been a fantastic run.
Really, and we've said it before. I mean, you know, the amount of positive things that Glenn Kozak has done for the New York Racing Association is innumerable. You talk about the positives with the Saratoga surface last year, this outer turf course, which he built. I mean, and these things would not have happened without Glenn. It's made an incredible impact here, and you think of how good the racing
Turf sprints at Aqueduct.
but you think of also how good the racing has been the last 2 fall meets at Aqueduct. I'm going to say as good a racing, if not the best racing we've literally had all year in New York. It could never have happened.
Look at the field size.
Look
Look at the field
If we hadn't
sizes
put the
of
outer
the
turf
turf
course
course.
in, these things could never
No
have
turf
happened.
sprints.
But not even that. We're running 5 and 6 turf
Right.
races
Well, yeah.
a day in November into December.
But I stress the turf sprint part of that because
the fields
we
are
have
big. I
so
get
many
it.
of them
No, I
now,
get
and the
it.
fields are big.
No, I don't disagree with you. I'm saying is there's more to
In
it
general,
than just
yeah,
that.
there's just more
It's-
turf racing. People love turf racing.
Race number 5, we'll take a look at Heartbreak Beat number 14,383 for me in 2020 when What's My Category got nailed in the money last time. I understand that Jorge Vargas was instructed to be unaggressive last time. I think a repeat of those tactics would be a mistake. Now you can say, well, maybe if he were more aggressive, it would have fallen apart more. Maybe that's true, because this race, besides What's My Category, fell apart. It also may be the horses that were involved in the pace had no chance, and all the logical horses were the closers. I think he's just supposed to go to the front in this race and wire the field and shut the door early.
Yeah, Joel Rosario and Halpert coming up the inside. This is a filthy beat for you.
Plus, I love the winner on the turf.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was waiting to bet
right.
that horse on the turf.
That's right. Yeah, can absolutely win today. That bothers me, though, right? They said not they weren't aggressive purposely last time. I mean, I don't get that.
That was my understanding. They didn't want to be aggressive.
I don't get that mentality in general. If you change your mind and you do what you're supposed to do today, this horse is supposed to be very, very
Well, you don't
dangerous
know
this
if some of the
afternoon.
firsters have speed. You never really know that. So you have to just, because you're so excited because you liked Bowing Snowman last time a little bit, that you're going to come right back. Aren't you a little worried that horse is coming out of a terrible race?
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of race where
That was some field.
it's the crossroads race today too. It ends the early pick 5 and starts the late pick 5. So going to be using a handful in here. Yeah, Lascano climbs aboard. I thought the horse improved tremendously from the slop to the fast track. And
Good.
yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
Second time start. Ran fine last time in a bad race. I mean, I don't have the horses impossible. I think Reunion Tour, I think both horses from Jonathan Thomas deserve a little bit of a look in here. Pulpus, who's never been in a dry dirt track. The problem I have a little with Pulpus is they tried a mile first time out, and now they're going to a sprint. So if this horse runs well, they have been completely wrong about this horse from the start. And that may be the case. Horses fool trainers, and even the best of trainers. But that seemed a little bit odd to me. But he does get a dry track, and the same for Reunion Tour. The 7 has never been in a dry track.
yeah. Yeah, you could say the same thing, like you said, for both Thomas horses. I was told Pulpus would be okay. You could throw the slop race
tip.
out. Then
You might want to block that number in the phone.
Then he didn't really run off last time, but he didn't settle. He kind of was aggressive on the front end. But yeah, now they turn back to a dirt sprint. I have no idea. I have no idea. I've kind of thrown my hands up with him at this point.
It's possible. I thought the first time star, the one Oliver's Fortune, was a little bit interesting in this race for Jimmy Ferraro. Have to Whale and Josie. And there's some actual pedigree if you look through some. The dam herself is a bit of a runner. The Lau bands have been runners, so I wanted to throw this.
Lau bands have been running really well.
Tremendous year. He'll have 4 crops as a New York-based stallion, but he's going to Kentucky next year.
Right. Got a couple. The 2 out of tune for Jimmy Ryerson.
Tip on this one?
No, a little interesting though. Got a couple of 48 breezes out of the gate. Those are pretty good works for a horse from Jimmy's barn. The gate works. The fact that this horse is a little peppier, for the lack of a better term, out of the gate leads me to believe maybe this horse will show a little speed.
All right. That's race number 5, the early pick 5. This also begins the late pick 5. We'll be back with the late pick 4 in just a moment.
It only takes 20 cents to take down an Empire. The Empire 6 is the jackpot 20-cent pick 6 bet that's offered every day at the Big A. One unique winning ticket earns the entire net pool plus the jackpot carryover. Without a unique ticket, 75% is distributed to winners with 25% added to the jackpot. Win big with the Empire 6.
For details on the Empire 6 and mandatory payout dates, visit nyra.com/Empire6 today.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Big A.
Hello.
What are you doing today? You hanging around?
No,
See your
going to
friends?
Phil's
How's Phil
backyard.
doing?
He's doing all right.
Give him my best.
Still getting still rehabbing the tendon.
Really?
I might send him over to Chad. Just let Chad Brown take a look at him.
It's tendon?
It's tendon.
I don't think trainers have going to work any miracles with tendons. Race number 6 at a mile. We'll take a look at the replay of the favorite Pier 40 and double shot, doing a smidgen of running towards the end of the race. Let me ask you a question about Pier 40.
Sure.
Think he's better on a wet track?
I do.
So do I. I know he ran a good figure 2 back, but he got some pace to run at that day.
And that was he got a great setup against the right bunch of horses. And he was still the proverbial life and death at 4 to 5 to finally get out of the maiden ranks.
He's the horse to
But
beat.
he came back and ran this race, and I do wonder if he just moves up a little bit
Pace
when
was
there's
pretty
moisture in the track.
contentious
Yeah, it was.
too. I mean,
yeah, it was.
Listen, he's run. I mean, once again, the notice have gotten him back to the horse he once could have been or once was. He's still Pier 40. He's 1 for 19. He's a long-time money incinerator.
He can
and
win.
I don't want him at a short price, and I think that you seem to feel the same way.
I do.
Talk about elusive ruler.
Yeah, I just want a little bit of I guess this would be considered a fresh face. Because this horse hasn't seen the dirt since May down in Kentucky. He ran against some decent 3-year-olds, two-year-olds.
Hasn't seen the dirt since Gulfstream in February.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
May in Kentucky.
It's been a while. Oh, yeah, Gulfstream, I'm sorry. I know it's been a long time since this horse seen a main track. Bruce Brown claimed him. I thought this horse ran well after the almost 3-month break. So
He
maybe
ran fine last time.
Yeah,
He had a good trip, but he ran fine.
They started this horse out on dirt. He's getting back to dirt. Again, I don't think he's facing a particularly tough bunch in here. This is the right spot to to get him back going on dirt and see what kind of horse he could be for the winter.
No, I've got him in there. I'm not going to be surprised he runs well. He met some better horses on the dirt. You know, I was thinking about this a little bit yesterday with Ahead of Plans, you know, awful performance yesterday. I sometimes wonder if even these horses that start out and are okay in the dirt, when they're still running well and they sort of get their axe on the turf, they often don't seem to transfer it back to the dirt.
Alan Jerkins would not switch surfaces with horses. Now, Alan didn't have
a lot of trainers
a huge, but he was
I've
kind
heard
of the
Shug
first
talk
one
about
that
this.
was a little outspoken.
I've heard
about
Shug
it.
talk about not moving horses
he
back
did
and forth
not.
on surfaces.
Devil is Due was the biggest. Devil is Due had a fantastic turf pedigree.
Who was the sire Devil's Due?
He was Green Dancer.
Was he?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he refused to run him on the turf because
Yeah,
he was always worried about bringing him back to the dirt. And
I agree, though.
Going sour. I do too.
This horse's dirt races are fine. You know, it's a similar feeling in that respect with my horse, Wild Banker. But I'll tell you something, Wild Banker. See, I don't know that this horse improved a lot on the turf. I'm not sure this horse just didn't improve with time. Because this horse's dirt races are actually pretty good. And I think they're a little better than they look in some cases on paper. And I thought he could be a little bit interested getting back to dirt, gets Jose Lezcano for this race. You start going back to those races for Mike Deeney and then Mike Tanuzzo. This horse ran fine in those races, and I thought this horse was very interesting. It's the first chance he's gotten to be in the dirt in 9 months, and he may just be an improved animal.
Yeah, I'm using the one. I'm going to make a late pick 5. I'm going to use the 1, 2, 8, and 9 here. I think they can all win. He'll likely be the biggest price. I thought Double Shot might be okay. He stretched out to the mile last time.
What running did he was just wide, but what running did he do? Drowned by pick 40.
I like the fact that he kind of. I think the distance is going to be his friend.
See, I would agree. I think the opposite.
I think distance is going to be his friend.
What indication is he given that's the case, though? And Dave Donk's only run this horse in sprints until now, and now he probably just running here because he has no other race.
He caught the wet track last time when he ran on the mile. The blinkers went on.
He's just beating horses that were falling apart in the late stages.
Maybe.
I mean, I've got him 4th. I'm not saying he's impossible. I didn't see it. But okay. Race number 7. I thought the race number 7 was a really great race. You know, I wouldn't want to be David and make the line in this race. And it's funny, he was talking on Twitter and he was saying who's going to be favored here. There were some responses to that. One I'm very embarrassed to say by a friend of mine that really needs to just like, I don't know what. Maybe
Who's going to be that was the question, who's going to be the favorite in here?
I honestly thought this horse would be the favorite. We'll look at Family Biz winning 2 races back before he ran those buzzsaws in that race last time, coming off a 2+ month layoff. But look at the race he ran 2 back when he was claimed. I just think he was in a super tough spot last time. Adari and the Sound, those are pretty good horses. The Sound ran like a stakes horse. This horse ran a 94 figure. I thought this horse might be. I don't have a.
He runs this race, they could credit the money to his account.
Well, this is a very good effort. I don't know. There's some good horses in here. But yeah, he runs this race. He is the horse to beat, no doubt about it.
No question. You tell me definitively that horse is going to run that race today, I'm tapping out.
I thought he was a super logical horse in here.
Coming back quick, that bother you? 2 weeks?
No, I don't worry about those things. I really don't. And what did he do last time? He didn't really do much running.
Yeah, when Dave had him in the past, he ran him on 2 weeks, and he just didn't run. He didn't run well at all. That's my big issue with him.
I'll be honest with you. I want to bet, because I bet that you would pick Will Sing for Wine. I'll be shocked if this horse wins.
Really?
Why do you like this horse?
The Tapper to Win race is his only real bad effort, I thought, on the dirt.
Where's his good effort?
I don't think the 3rd place finish behind Forza d'Oro was terrible last time out.
I wouldn't call it terrible, but relatively speaking, what do you think he did well in there?
He made up a little ground. I mean, I know he was supposed to make up a little ground.
He didn't. He actually didn't make up any ground. He was 10 lengths out of it in the first quarter, and he finished out. There was a fast pace.
Don't you think he's just running against better horses?
No. This is a very good field.
See, I don't know if I.
It was a fast pace last time.
I don't know if I agree with this being a killer field.
Okay, but what did he do well in that race?
Why do I have to like him off the last race?
Well, there's no other race that gives him a chance, is there?
The race in Saratoga where he probably moved into contention too soon.
He got beaten by 6 lengths.
Okay, going 9 now. He's going to come back to the mile. He's coming back to Aqueduct. He broke his maiden at this distance. He's at this trip. He's supposed to get a good setup in here. There's some speed in here. I know he's not the only one that's going to get the setup. But
Okay, I don't like him. Here's what I think. I think he sat on the rail last time. I thought the rail was the best place to be. Thought there was a wicked pace in there that fell apart. And
you think he picked up pieces? That's fine.
well, I mean, he was beaten by 7 lengths in a dirt race. That usually means you run about 7th. See, I think he's dressed up off that. I mean, David's got him at 5-1. I mean, if he were 15-1 in here, I couldn't fault you for using him. You think he's a reasonable bet at 5-1 in this race?
I don't think it'll be that. I mean, I couldn't
You
tell
don't
you
think
what
so? You think
anybody's
David's
gonna
wrong?
be. I couldn't tell you. I don't think he's going to be 5-1. No.
Well,
I think they'll bet Dudley Square. That's what I ultimately think.
They may, and we'll look at Dudley Square's race. See, I think it's a joke. Anybody that likes Dudley Square and doesn't like Our Last Buck is kidding themselves. Now, we'll show the start of the race for the first quarter of a mile. It's about 25 seconds, and then the last quarter of the race. Our Last Buck didn't break in here. He gets caught out in the 6th path in here. And he was never anywhere inside. I think according to Trackus, he ran 62 more feet than Dudley Square. Now, that's not going to tell you the whole story, but I'll tell you something about him. I'm not sure that getting less distance isn't going to help him. Maybe 1 1/8 is stretching it a bit for him and getting a 1-turn mile. And the other thing about him is, and listen, I do think Dudley Square ran well in here. I'm not going to say he didn't, because he absolutely did run well in this race. I will not deny it, but I think there's going to be more pace in today's race at a mile than he had last time, and I'm not sold on him. I think a lot of people are going to be turned off by the rider in Our Last Buck. You got a 5% rider, and I get it. I do. I'm not sure he's just not the best horse in this race. And I think he was badly compromised last time, and he's going to be a fair enough. But listen, there's a lot of worse. I don't think your horse is impossible. I just think he's a horrible bet at a short price.
Listen, I think it's a contentious race. I think 6 or 7.
The 4, the 5, the 6. What about Blind Willie McDowell? He didn't run that badly last time, and finally he gets a drive. Maybe he'll show up one of these days. He may just not be able to run anymore.
Blinkers Lascano going to stretch out for the first time beyond 7.
I don't like 12th man.
First time for a while, I should say.
Do you know that first time in a route, Michelle Nevin's got very good numbers when they're not first-time starters starting out in a route. She's 7 for 30, 23% with like a 250 ROI, 250-ish ROI. So she's strong. I mean, Vintage Hollywood can win. You got the worst second, I got the worst 4th. I mean, why can't this horse win?
Absolutely win.
This horse has just been nothing but good. I think there's an awful lot of horses that can win this race. I mean, like a lot of them.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
David likes Villainous. I think he's insane, but I respect his opinion.
Listen, horse coming in off 3 wins.
I get it. Got a bad start last time. I didn't watch it. I probably should have, because you never know at Parks. There are some mystery calls in the chart calls there. That horse the other day. Who did
horse that's kind of in form.
No, listen.
The horse is going to be a good price, too.
I can't knock him. He's taking a shot with a horse at a big price near, and you know how much I respect David's opinion. I mean, horses that are tough to make. Singapore Trader's a little tough to make in this race. He just should have won last time. Striking Speed. He's tough to. He won a race last time where 2 horses were easy.
Is it crazy to
American
think that
rules.
12th man has a chance in
I
there?
just.
No, but I mean,
I have a question. I have a question. Did he leave while I just talked about 12th man for about a minute? Guys, did Anthony leave the set while I just had about a 45-second conversation about 12th man?
I don't think you talked about him that long. I mean,
I did. I did, actually.
What's he supposed to do in here? Is he supposed to
he's going to be forward. He's going to be forward because he's a speed. But if you rate, listen, one of the reasons that I understand if paces get hot and you send your horse it's hard, you have no chance when you rate a speed horse, especially stretching out. So if you don't go, then you have no chance. If you go, there are horses that can be involved in quick paces and still hold on. And as I said, if you had been listening, Michelle Nevin's very good first time with routers when they're not first-time starters.
Oh, I got confused. I thought you were back to Our Last Buck. Thought you were continuing to talk about Our Last Buck because you segued from the 5% rider, and then you went right into 12th man. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Phil,
you just kept
help me, Phil.
You just kept going.
Help me, Phil.
You just kept going. You got on the long rein on the easy lead. You just kept going, my man.
A lot to say in here. Race number 8, the Alex M. Robb.
How about this one? This is another doozy, wasn't it today?
Anthony, that you have 4 picks and you don't have Bankit in the top 4 might be the lowest moment of your life on Talking Horses. Here's Mr. Buff beating Bankit and Seafoam 2 back in the Empire Classic. Let me ask you a question. How do you see this race being run?
I mean, doesn't Seafoam have to go
Yes.
and just put Mr. Buff in the 2-hole today?
Well, let me put it this way. They didn't go last time.
No, they're going. He's going today.
It didn't go last time. How did that work out?
He's going today.
Now, in Saratoga, they went the fastest pace we saw at a mile and eighth race, I think, the whole year. This horse was on the, what do you call it? The Bill Daly?
On the Bill Daly, man.
From the start, and you called it. You were dead right about that. That was Anthony's one
He's
good opinion
got to
pace.
go. Yeah, by one.
But let me say, there have been 4, but let me just say, he's a very good example of letting a speed horse do what he wants to do,
Yep.
and he still wins. He ran huge that day, and he's not capable of winning when they don't go, so doesn't he have to go? And I think if you're
Must
Christophe
go.
Clement, you're saying 2 things. Seafoam is best when you're aggressive.
And you're taking
and
Mr. Buff out of his game
You're
a
taking him
little
out of the game, which can only help the horse we'll look at here, and that's City Man. So I think it helps Seafoam, and I think it helps City Man to do that. I don't think it helps Mr. Buff. Now, in fairness, Mr. Buff is rated, but is Mr. Buff ever rated on a fast pace?
No, it's usually off those dawdling paces where he's
They're
just kind
not
of doing
super
his
slow,
own
but
thing.
they're not. And I think this race get a lot. I don't love City Man.
This race could get hot. They could get hot up front.
I don't love City Man. He can win, as can Seafoam. He couldn't beat Chestertown here. I know Chestertown won the other day. This is a very, 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 very much better field than last time. I won't be shocked if he wins. You seem to feel the same way I do. As far as Bankett, I know Bankett doesn't win. I get it. He's a loser. He does not win races. But what he does is he runs very well. And I think the fact that he was in that race last time going shorter, even though the pace wasn't hot, that Jose maybe can get him in the race more. So if the pace is hotter, the race will get away from him a little bit. But if the pace isn't, I think you're going to see Jose get him in the race. And I know he doesn't win. I get it. You know I don't like horses like Bankett. I think 7-2 is the shortest price you're going to get on Bankett. I know he's good enough to win this race. And I think City Man's going to take a lot of money because they're going to see the wins. It's Clement. And I think that Bankett is a much better horse than City Man, and I think their prices will be comparable. And I'd much rather bet Bankett than City Man if I want a horse that's closing. It's as simple as that.
He don't win.
I understand. I think he's going to run a
doesn't
very
win.
big race today. I'll be surprised if he's not 1-2.
Okay.
I respect Mr. Buff.
I just want Mr. Buff.
Obviously, if he stalks, I come back in a week, man. Does he really go in the paddock and say, "Oh, that guy won a graded stake. I can't win here"? Does he really do that?
Man, you know, common sense tells you it's impossible, but
It's bizarre.
Look at this. This might be
Because-
the first horse that can read. It's really amazing. It's really amazing. I mean,
He's such a good horse.
and he doesn't show up with an effort. He just doesn't.
He stinks.
He just. It's almost like he feels like it's an off day.
Like somebody tells him they're New York. Maybe they should tell him he goes in the paddock. They're New York bred. Just fly to him. Somehow.
I don't know.
Blindfold him.
I don't know.
Fool him.
It's amazing.
We'll take a look at Danny California, you have second, who I have 7th in here. Let me ask you a question with Danny California. Don't we think his improvement had a lot to do with the longer distance races? Because if he runs the race he ran August 27th, you know what he'll get in here?
Bupkis.
I don't think he's going to beat Yankee Division if he runs that race.
Wow.
Yeah. How's that for you?
I just think if it heats up like it's supposed to. See, I'm not sold that Bankett wants the 9.
Okay. We're at 55 lunches. You've got this horse second, and you don't have my horse anywhere. Can I bet you? I'll get you a chance to win 3 lunches back. I'll take the 6 over the 5.
I already passed up a dinner bet on this today.
With who?
Friend.
Phil?
No. Phil and I don't bet lunches.
Phil.
Already
you
passed
should
up
start.
a dinner bet on this
He's an
today.
easy mark. All right. I don't want to.
I have to pass.
Wow.
I'm giving up way too. No offense to the riders, but I'm giving up way too much in the saddle.
Doesn't have the courage of his
I'm giving up way
convictions.
too
You
much in
saw
the
it here.
saddle.
The man
Giving
does
up way
not
too
even
much in
have
the
any
saddle.
courage to his opinions.
I'm giving
As
up
I
way
say,
too
I
much in
was
the
ready to
saddle.
bet anybody in the race against VIP Nation yesterday, and
I'm giving up way too much in the
very
saddle. You see,
bad
this
moment
is-
on Twitter for your friend Hirsch. Really bad moment for him.
This was.
He's very disappointed. I may have to unfollow him.
This
I
was,
may unfollow him.
This was take part in the poll. This part.
I am going to get right on that.
this
As soon as,
was,
thanks for that.
this
No.
was,
Who do you like?
I just think Mr. Boom.
Well, we know who you like. You're in the poll.
Moving on to race number 9.
If you don't think Anthony and I amuse ourselves, you have no idea.
Number 9.
Race number 9. You know, race number 9 is a funny race because you've got Unbridled John, who's way the horse to beat, getting back to a dry track, ran super 2-back, stunk last time. And, you know, be careful with his second last time because it was a 2-horse race. What?
That's supposed to say.
That's yesterday. That's your last picks for yesterday's 9th race.
Those are yesterday's last race.
For
guys.
Anthony, I'm good.
I'd like to leave. Could we just replay the 9th race yesterday so I could blast that thing?
I didn't bet the exact.
Me either.
You know
I don't
what?
wanna
I
talk about
misread the board. I didn't realize the 8. I thought the A is the 9 or something.
So did I.
Like
It was 8-1. So did I. I did the same exact
Somebody
thing.
said in the trade, hey, you and Anthony gave her a $33 exact. I'm thinking that thing must have paid $11.
And then Bobby said to me, he's like, I hope you blasted this thing. I was like, who cares if I blasted it?
I mean, I wouldn't have bet a lot. I would have had it for a few dollars.
$16.60 for $1. I wanted to puke.
It's funny that we did this.
So those
idiots.
should read 7, 2, 8, 9.
Anthony's picks are 7, 2, 8, 9. We've got time if you want to take them off. By the way, I don't blame anybody in the truck.
There it is. Wow. See how quick that was? Wow. That's never happened.
Is
when
it
they
possible
leave
they
the
were
screen.
just seeing if we were paying attention?
Maybe.
Keeping us on our toes?
Maybe.
Francisco's
I was
playing
like, I
tricks.
did not pick Unbridled John. I couldn't do it.
Francisco's having a good day. Oh, you couldn't? Why not?
You know, listen, he can obviously win. I can't take the 0 for 12.
The Z finale, you love those Zevos.
Did you see that yesterday, by the way? I know you were busy here. Did you see that Tom Coleman ran the half sister for $35,000 yesterday?
Oh, the horse that broke his maiden first time out?
The Florida
How'd
bred.
it do?
Off the board.
Well, that's probably why they're in for 35. You think Tom made that call, or you think Chad did? Chad still have
Chad
the horse?
don't have the horse anymore.
Who has the horse?
I don't remember who has the horse. No.
Pickle,
wasn't it?
something Pickle. Something Pickle.
yeah.
He named a friend of his has a store.
Yeah. Scotty's
Tom's one of the
Pickle or
world's
something.
most wonderful people, by the way.
I can't
He
believe
really,
he ran
truly
it for
is.
a tag.
He may actually be nicer than you.
I can't
not
believe
easy,
he ran
but-
it for a tag.
The half to Zevo?
It's got to have some value, no?
Did anyone claim it?
I didn't check.
Well, that's the question. Flash something Pickle? No, that's Flash Barky tomorrow.
Flash Barbie tomorrow.
Something Pickle.
I don't know. I'm going to try to stay away from the 0 for 12 as best I can. Yeah, Z finale, blinkers. I think Nick Juarez is actually riding this horse because the Louis Cardenas horse drew in the 16. Yeah, so Nick Juarez is riding this horse. The horse hasn't run on dirt since June. It was 3 turf races. Blinkers dropped to the bottom.
Nick gave a good ride yesterday. He was aggressive with that Bond horse yesterday.
Yes, he
that
was.
That was a good ride by him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that horse was 60 to 1 if you just watched the race.
He was 6 to 1.
Right? Yeah, that horse ran.
So I took a little shot with Z finale over.
I got the horse in there. I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, no, I think the horse will probably. But listen, this horse ran against real horses first time out. I mean, obviously got bet because it was Chad Brown, but I listen. The Bond Barn's back alive. The Hex has been listed, and their horses are running.
Yeah, that horse ran really well.
But they've been running for 3 weeks
They
now.
have
And
been
listen,
running
they
for a few
always do a good job. And I didn't. There was never, listen, I've been friends with them, and I always root for them, and they're supporters of ours. They advertise in the show, but it's just their horses weren't running, and they would have been the first to admit it. And I think a lot of it was that they came back from Saratoga where they had been ready to go.
To use the
back.
old 6-shooter, right? Sometimes you empty the holster.
Yeah, exactly. No, I
And
don't.
that's it.
I don't think their losing at Belmont was a surprise.
Well, I was a little surprised.
They were bad, but
it was bad, but they could never keep up. It would have been hard. They're not Christophe Clement to keep it up for 6
we got a
6.5
replay
months.
to watch of Brickyard. This was a badly judged ride, in my opinion, with Brickyard on a number of points. First of all, I know the pace fell apart here, which sort of worked in his favor, but Brickyard broke well, and it's not that the pace got away from him. The rider is dragging this horse out of the race. What is the benefit of doing that? And then, you see it right there, now it's just pronounced. Okay, fine. You've taken the horse out of the race, and they're moving a bit up front, to be fair. So I'm not going to say that it's the worst instinct in the world, but I am going to say this is not a turf race. You can't jam the horse down the rail.
Well,
now he's trying to get the horse to rerun after he's taken away. And
That's my problem with the ride.
Like let the horse find its own position a little bit, and then you go down the rail like this, and here's what happens. The entire race develops in front of you while you're behind a wall of horses.
Door
so
closes
by
there.
the time Brickyard is able to finally extract himself. He's been
Door
he's been
closes
blind switched by
there.
horses that aren't even in the race. They're now past the 8th pole.
Door closes
so
there.
all the horses that are making runs are well ahead of you and in full stride. So how the heck are you possibly going to catch them?
Impossible.
Now, you could say, well, he got a little unlucky. Okay, he also asked to be unlucky. And I will say the race fell apart a little bit, so maybe it worked out for him a little bit. But this poor guy was given absolutely no
But the
chance.
problem is, too, you go from, right, what do we snatch and grab. It's the grab, and then you go from having a snug hold to a full drive.
You can't.
That's not a
and in this
natural.
race,
That's not natural.
I thought it was a little bit easier because he draws towards the outside, just in time for Wine's going to go. You know, Farron Peterson's aggressive, and the horse has nothing but speed. Unbridled John's going to be forwardly placed. I think this one, you let him find his position going a mile. He's got speeds in front of him, and you just find your position. And don't get overly cute. These are $25,000 maiden claimers. Getting overly cute with these horses, it's one thing when you're 40 to 1. It's another thing when you're one of the choices. Just give him a chance.
And if this horse breaks,
just put him in position.
the way he broke last time,
Those breaks, he's got speed.
That draw is going to be tremendously beneficial to him today. In a race that, you know, listen, there's 14 of them out there.
You calling any races this weekend?
Calling the whole card tomorrow.
Whole card. You ready?
Yeah.
My biggest compliment I says to Anthony about him calling last Sunday was I forgot he was calling. I didn't even notice you were calling.
Thank you.
That's a big compliment. I meant as one. I mean, I think when you become sort of part of the, you know, you're not thinking, oh, Anthony's calling. Yeah, no, nice job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Back tomorrow. Johnny took one more Sunday
I'll
off.
make fun of him all day tomorrow. I'm going to actually, instead of prattles tomorrow, Maggie and I are going to sit here and we're just going to critique Anthony's call from each race. Maggie won't be in the paddock.
For me, dog.
Maggie won't be in the paddock. She'll be up here with me.
dog.
And each race, we're just going to go over the replay and we're just going to.
You're gonna hit the button.
We're gonna, you know what? Maybe
voice?
we would get a speakerphone and we'll get Frank Miramati on as well to join in the fun.
Man. You guys gonna put numbers up like?
Yeah, I like that. I think Maggie will be all for that. I like that. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll get Frank involved. We can get a speakerphone up here. Anyhow, it's been a pleasure. Terrific card today, it really is, and the racing's good. And tomorrow's card, another good card, so excited, drunk Thursday, of course. Turf racing ends after today's 2 races, though, but it's been a great run. Thanks, guys. And
Go play.
A lot of hard work, by the way, goes into keeping those turf courses, so a lot of appreciation to the people who do that work to keep it going. Naira Bets, head on over to Naira Bets. Play through Naira Bets. Use Match 200. We'll match up at $200 your initial deposit. Also want to let people know on Naira Bets today, a 10% winner's bonus on all win bets at, is it Louisiana Champions Day at Fairgrounds?
Louisiana Champions Day at the Fairgrounds. Those
Star Guitars.
Those are app only.
App only, thank you.
And it's capped at $50. So we hope you get to the cap.
A lot of Star Guitars running down there.
I would imagine so.
Love those Star Guitars.
Not Lee Guitar. She's not down there.
Lead guitar. Horse has done some turn. George Weaver's barn, they have really turned that horse around. Anyhow, the man, the one and only John Embrial, up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes.